Jason McCourty is now going to sit at the breakfast table of the. Wait a minute, I've got the notes for this interview. The Emmy Award winning show, Good Morning Football. I'm aware of that.
I mean,
we lost, but it's an outstanding program, as you know.
And NFL Network family.
Well, no. I as you know, the number of times that I have said over and over again that hosting NFL Total Access for a decade, that there's going to be another tentpole show. I'd love for more tentpole shows to show up on NFL Network, and Good Morning Football has become one. Not just a tentpole for NFL Network, but for the entire industry in the morning. And Jamie Erdahl, formerly of CBS, is now going to be taking that spot that Kay Adams has been sitting in, and Jason McCourty joins the breakfast table on Monday. So I am thrilled to have here on the Rich Eisen Show, I guess sort of as an entry interview into NFL Network, is none other than Jason McCourty. How you doing, Jason?
I'm doing good. Appreciate you having me.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm excited. It's a great opportunity to be transitioning out of football into a great role like Good Morning Football.
So, how are you getting ready to do this thing, Jason? You ready to wake up in the morning? What's your normal time you hit the alarm? What's the normal time you wake up?
Man, I got 3 young kids, so I'm usually up by like 6:30, 7 o'clock on the usual. So now with Good Morning Football, I'll have to be up around 4:30. So. Yep. I've never been much of a coffee drinker, but that may have to change in the near future.
Jason, I'll just let you know right now, I never used to be much of a coffee drinker, but I became one. I've got my annual physical sharing coming up after this program. I am doing this entire show with no food and no caffeine, and I am freaking out. I'm not lying to you right now. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. So you don't drink coffee?
No, never had a cup. It just doesn't taste good to me, so I've never gotten into it.
So even in your tenure with the Patriots, you never had a Dunkin'? I mean, I think how did that ever happen? You never had one of them?
Never had a Dunkin', but I'm a big donut guy, so I'll definitely stop by and grab vanilla frosted or strawberry frosted. The sprinkles are optional; they're not that important of a piece, but I've definitely had my fair share of donuts over the years being there. All
right, Jason McCourty getting ready to join the breakfast table. That'll be a lot of fun. And you know, you're joining an outstandingly talented crew. Outstandingly talented. You're getting a good spot, Jason. You really are. You know, congratulations on that. And you got Kyle Brandt's Angry Runs. You got all that coming up. Are you going to have your own sort of segment? You got something like that cooked up, Jason? What do you got?
Time will tell. So I'm looking forward to bringing those 13 years of 1 year winning a Super Bowl, another year going 0-16. So that's a plethora of knowledge of how to do it and how not to do it. So we definitely can probably pull that into a segment somehow.
Wait a minute. So you did go? Did you go from 0-16 to winning a Super Bowl? Did that happen? Back to back?
In that exact order. Lost the last game in January. Signed, got traded to the Patriots in March, and by February was hoisting the Lombardi Trophy.
Damn. That is a totally different ball of wax. Oh, my gosh. All right, so now that you're out, tell me every secret of Bill Belichick, starting now. Go for it. What do you got?
Nah, I wish I knew. So I guess his biggest secret is that somehow he finds a way to keep winning.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So help me. Why doesn't he name coordinators? Can you help me with that one, Jason? Did you see yesterday he finally put titles to the new coaches' names, and none of them are coordinators? Like what? What happened? What? Can you give me any insight on that at all, Jason?
I did see that. I know for my 3 years being there, like title never mattered. So. I think for him, I couldn't tell you exactly why the press releases go out and they don't have anything, but for when you're in the building, there's always going to be a consistent person in front of the room talking to you, whether it's Bill standing up in front of the squad meeting, whether there's been times that he's been the same person to stand up in the defensive meeting rooms, or whether it's Steve or Mayo or whoever's going to be standing in front of the room on the offensive side of the ball. The one thing you knew as a player when you walked in, you knew who was going to be standing in front of you. You knew what the plan was going to be each and every week, and you knew what you needed to do to execute it. So I think for him, he doesn't really care about those titles and things because he looks at it as it's more for other people to talk about because within the building, it's just not important. Now, for those coaches, I don't know how they feel when you go to negotiate your next deal and the title's not there. That's a whole nother side of the business that I wasn't privy to.
So, but everybody there in that building clearly knows as they are arriving for training camp as a team next Tuesday, everyone knows who's calling the plays this year, right? Everyone does know that by now, right? Or no?
For sure they know on defense. I don't know if they know on offense. I'm sure Bill and those guys know, but I don't know if that's part of still figuring out what's next. I can't even pretend like my 3 years of experience in that building leads me to know the answer to that question. So I'd be lying if I said, oh, yeah, for sure they do know. But I think the one thing that those guys probably know walking into that building to start a training camp is that they're confident in that whatever the plan is going to put them in the best position to win.
And what does the Patriot way mean? I mean, the do-your-job way that might have been different in all the other stops from Tennessee, Cleveland, and Miami for you in your 13-year career, Jason McCourty. What's the difference?
You know what? I've never been big on the whole, like, Patriot way as if, like, you walk in, they hand you a book of, like, do's and don'ts of what the Patriot way means.
Right.
For me, I know when I first got there, the one thing that I thought stood out to me was Bill's ability to put a roster together beyond just X's and O's. Like when we walked in that locker room, the chemistry and the camaraderie that was built around players was huge. And I think there's something to that when a coach, Bill's coach/GM, when you can look at a team and you know, hey, I may need a receiver, but personality-wise, better experience-wise, who's the guy that's going to fit perfectly within my locker room? I think that helps build what you call the Patriot way. My years there, when you have guys, obviously everybody talks about Tom. We know how great he is and what he brings to the table. But when you have guys like Devin McCourty, Julian Edelman, Matthew Slater, these are guys that dictate what goes on in the building. And obviously it started with the Willie McGinnises and the Rodneys, the Lawyer Malloy, so many guys that came before them. But to me, that's more or less what it means. And then, as you know, when you've worked in the league for a while, organizations go through transition and different things at different times. The one thing about New England for the past 20 years has been consistency. Everybody within that building is moving in the same direction. There's no egos involved. There's no, well, why am I not doing this? Why is he doing that? Everybody knows what the goal is and the vehicle in which we all need to be in to get there.
New breakfast table member and regular of Good Morning Football, the Emmy Award-winning show on NFL Network, Jason McCourty here on the Rich Eisen Show. So, Kyler Murray's new contract, what do you think that leads to in Arizona? What do you got for me? Winning championships or what? Like, because he's now the second highest paid per annual basis quarterback in the league. He's yet to win a game in the playoffs. He is clearly generationally talented, now generationally enriched. What do you think this leads to in Arizona, Jason?
I mean, I definitely at this point can't say championships just for the fact that they haven't done anything yet to show us that they have championship written all over them. And I think that's the odd thing about when it comes to contracts. I remember getting my second contract when I was in Tennessee, and our GM at the time was Rustin Webster, and I signed the deal and everything, and obviously excited, ton of money, all of that. And Rustin comes up to me, and he's just like, hey, the reason we paid you is because we want you to continue to do what you have done since you've been here. The leadership, the way you play, don't think that you have to do anything differently. We paid you because of who you are and how you approach this game, so continue to do those same things. So as I listened, like yesterday, of hearing everybody talk about Kyler Murray, and it's just like, well, now that they paid him, they expect him to be a leader. They complained about his body language. They want him to change that and this, that, and the third. And my thing is, you pay a guy. There's different ways you pay a guy. Sometimes you pay a guy because, hey, like he's been doing this for X amount of years. A guy like Tom Brady, you pay him because you know his worth and you know what's going to happen. A guy like Kyler Murray, you know each year he's been in the NFL, he's improved. So you know for him, the ceiling is still high. But you can't pay a guy and expect, all right, now all of a sudden he's going to walk into the building and be a different person. he's going to all of a sudden walk in and be the most vocal guy in the building. No, he's going to continue to do the same things that he's done. So for me, I do think Arizona is going to continue to improve because as Kyler Murray goes. I just don't know if it breeds championship. The Rams are still a very good team in the NFC. I don't know if they've been able to build a roster to get over that hump. Obviously, DeAndre Hopkins is going to be missing games early on in the season, and they're going to need guys to step up. So I think you get to a point where this day and age, you need a quarterback to win, and there's a market value of what that position demands, and they had no choice but to pay him because he's a starting quarterback, and he's one of the better ones in the league.
I know my guy, Chris Brockman, across the way from here, gets upset every single time. I'm like, does he deserve it? He absolutely deserves it because that's what the market pays him. It's his turn, and it was his turn. The question is how will he earn it? And I think you just kind of gave an assessment that's accurate. Like, we haven't seen Arizona finish strong yet since he and Cliff Kingsbury have been together. We haven't seen that big finish to top off what they were able to do in the first half of a season. And now their first half of this season's without DeAndre Hopkins and the defending champs with their big, huge, moon-sized championship rings they got last night. That's going to be a very tall order, Jason. Very tall.
Without a doubt. And the biggest challenge for the Rams is going to be how do you handle the success? Super Bowl, you got the parade, you get the rings, you got the stadium underneath, flip the top off on the ring, show that off as well. Now the season's about to start. What have you been doing all off season? Have you been touring and showing off the rings and the trophy, or have you got right back to work, and are you as eager and as hungry to win the next one? I think that was always the challenge for me, actually being able to win one when I first got to New England and coming back in 2019 of having that same hunger and us going in the off season and really grinding, but at the same time realizing that, hey, we played football all the way to the middle of February last year. Like, we're an old team. Like, we have to figure out ways to get that work in, but still take care of our bodies. But, I mean, the Rams gave out money all offseason. They got Bobby Wagner there has joined, and they were able to re-sign Cooper Kupp. Aaron Donald even was able to give the coach some money as well. So there's no reason to believe that the Rams aren't going to be right there at the top of the conference this year.
All right, last one for you. This is a classic paparazzi question, and since you're now part of us, that world, I'll throw it to you. The one quarterback to win a game in 2022, okay, for this year, you've got to choose one quarterback to win a football game in a do-or-die contest. That quarterback is which? Who is that quarterback, Jason McCourty? What do you have?
Josh Allen, Bills Mafia. And it pains me to say it after playing in the AFC East with New England and with Miami, but I think it's because of that is why I'm saying it. This guy has shown up in big moments, and he's just a monster. This guy can throw the ball all over the field, and he also can get the ball in the shotgun position, use the running back as a lead blocker, and he's shown his ability to score touchdowns running the ball in the red zone. But I think for me, watching Josh Allen develop, being in that division and seeing where he was as a young quarterback, being able to flash and make plays, but also making the mistakes and the interceptions and the fumbles, and to see how far he's grown and how much he's gotten better, and having a chance to be around him at a conference one off season, man, this dude is special, and he's continued to show it. So for me, Josh Allen would be that one quarterback. I think the beauty about him is that when you hear the guys in Buffalo on that team talk about him, or you see him and Stephon Diggs do a touchdown celebration where they're both dancing, you see the way guys rally around him, and that's true leadership because guys want to go out there and perform for him so that they can go in the presser on Monday and call him the best quarterback in the league.
Jason McCourty, thanks for the time. Look for more of my phone calls. Welcome to NFL Network, NFL Media Group. Congrats on the Good Morning Football gig, and let's do this again soon. Thank you.
Appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it.
Right back at you. That's Jason McCourty right here on The Rich Eisen Show.